Another heads up, this video is probably going to be short. There's not a lot going on in this episode plot-wise. The music is fantastic though, take a listen.
This is how you're supposed to act in the desert?
See, this is where Steven being obnoxious is played off as a joke and not the episode's whole focus. That's how it should be. Joke episodes don't work, unless the writers put 100% of their energy into it.
The power in this structure has turned aimless.
It's building columns with no roofs, stairs that go nowhere.
This is kind of the first look at a corrupted gem that doesn't take the form of a monster. I know we haven't gotten to the part of the show where they start talking about corruption, but we all know. That's one of the earliest revelations this show has. When a gem is corrupted, they lose all sense of purpose and direction, and like Garnet says, turn aimless. I think the Pyramid Temple in Serious Steven was similar. I wrote a blog post about that on sourcemaster.net if you want some supplementary gemology material.
Let's go!
It'll be best if you stay here, Steven.
Wait, what? But why? Why did you bring him then?
Do not worry, wet one. There's nothing out here that can harm you.
That's definitely a future vision moment. She knew Steven wouldn't come into any harm, but Lion is so out of left field that she couldn't have predicted it. We got Lion in the fucking Avatar state on his first appearance. Actually, the eye glow thing isn't consistent at all, so I'm gonna do a lightning round of eye glow continuity. Alright, ready, go. First shot, glowing, 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 later not glowing for several shots, glowing when the gems get back, not glowing, semi-half glowing with the pupil still drawn, not glowing, half glowing again, and finally not glowing.
You just wanted attention, didn't you? Didn't you?
I think the gag of Lion just acting like a giant house cat doesn't really work after so many other pieces of media did the same thing already. Hey, How to Train Your Dragon is one of my favorite movies ever, and nothing can top Toothless.
I really like your pink fur.
Looking back, it seems so obvious that Lion had connections to Rose Quartz, but be honest, how many of you made that connection in this episode? If you say yes, you're fucking lying, because the name Rose Quartz was mentioned in only one episode so far. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, you couldn't know that this early because it's almost impossible to realize that this show has direct continuity until halfway through season 1. I've mentioned halfway through season 1 a lot in this series, and I'm really looking forward to getting to that point. Amethyst refusing to bubble the desert glass is entirely contrived for the plot. It fits her character, sure, but if she wouldn't do it herself, surely Garnet would snatch it and bubble it. Alright, what the fuck is Pearl doing in this shot? Like, seriously?
I love you.
That's so sweet! I love you too.
That's just me. That's just me when I see an animal.
I thought gems don't need sleep.
We don't. Feels good though.
This is pretty much a throwaway line, but it reveals just that little bit more about what gems are.
Probably some kid trying to sell me lava insurance.
Lava insurance, huh? So my theory about Beach City having unique insurance options has some merit. No crackpot theories about gem history and magic here, only theories about towny shit. Alright, Lion is fucking huge, right? His head goes over the door, and that's when he's on all fours. Real lions are massive creatures, don't get me wrong, but there are some dog breeds that get that big. A real lion would probably come up to Steven's head. This lion is closer to a horse. Is this really how tall the path to Steven's house is? I suppose so, it's just a weird angle of it, I guess.
All you gotta do is catch it in your mouth. See?
You can't do that, that's a whole ass tennis ball. There's no way your jaw opens up enough to hold it. Also, this scene is kinda terrible overall. I blame the lack of background music and the fact that it's basically Steven talking to himself the whole time. That's actually a problem this show has, at least I think it's a problem, that when there are scenes with only Steven, he just yaps constantly. I think it stems from the Steven's point of view rule, where the viewer needs to know what's going on inside his head for it to really be his point of view. But more often than not, it just gets annoying. It's like listening to someone else thinking out loud at full volume while you're just trying to go about your day.
Cats love fish. Everybody loves pizza. So you're gonna love this.
Okay, but where's the stew? Hello? I'm looking for a hot bowl of stew. It's not as egregious as Fryman, but Kofi Pizza has the same thing going on with his hair, that it vaguely looks pizza-shaped, matching his name and his profession.
You must be hungry.
I'm ordering for 2.
Steven's pregnant?
I'm telling you, Season 1 Ronaldo is a good character. He's funny, I can't help but laugh at him.
Lots of weird stuff happens in Beach City. You'd know if you read my blog, Keep Beach City Weird.
This is the photo he took from Cat Fingers, obviously, but there's also a post for this episode of Steven angrily eating an entire pizza by himself.
He's not invisible? He's pink!
Pink? How can he be invisible and pink?
I've always thought of this as a reference to that parody religion about an invisible pink unicorn, where the joke is that it can't be invisible and pink. It's a way for atheists to poke fun at inconsistencies and contradictions in different religions. That's all I'll say, or I'll be risking starting a war in the comments. I don't get this. If Lion's whole goal of coming here was to get to the desert glass, what was with all the standing around with Steven? To fill time? Maybe, because this episode feels like it has nothing going on. Also, I may be stupid because I was about to ask, how did Lion get all the way here from the desert in one day? And I remember that he can teleport. I'll see myself out. You probably already knew this, but Lion is voiced by D. Bradley Baker, who's like the go-to guy when you want some sort of beast voice. He's already played roles in the show so far, like Centipedal and Frybo, and he voices a ton of other gem monsters later. He's probably the most famous for voicing Appa and Momo in Avatar, Perry the Platypus, and all of the clones in Star Wars The Clone Wars.
I thought we were best friends!
Steven covering his mouth with a pillow is just a sneaky way for animators to avoid drawing his mouth for lip syncing. It happens a few times in the show, but I think it's fine in this scene because it's really subtle. The desert glass working on the beach is pretty cool and a bit unexpected. I mean, it's called the desert glass, and Pearl said this earlier.
We have to get the desert glass out of the desert.
So you almost wouldn't have it in your mind that it could work on the beach as well. It makes total sense when it happens, though. I bet all the people who bought sandstorm insurance were laughing today. The colors in this scene are really cool. Everything except the gem on the pillow are colored in reds or grays. Even Steven's blue jeans are just really dark gray. There's a Vsauce video about this. It's called the Land Effect. Where did your gauntlets come from? It went from one shot to the next without you summoning them. This exact scenario happened before in Serious Steven, and I'm pretty sure it happens again. I'm keeping my eye out for it. This is some of my favorite background music in the entire show. It really makes me think of Mario Galaxy, and I'm incredibly nostalgic for that game. I played the fuck out of it when I was a kid. I'm streaming both of those games if I can ever get my Wii working again.
We should have done this in the first place.
In my defense, I forgot.
I said this in a previous video. I didn't even know I was accidentally referencing this.
Are we really going to let him keep that?
We kept Amethyst.
Yes! Fuck yeah, give me more of that from Garnet. I'm desperate for more Garnet at this point, and I'm sick of complaining about it. I'm sure you're all sick of it too. So yes, more of that, please.
Yay, Lion!
Aw, that was fucking adorable. If it wasn't for the introduction of Lion, this episode would be complete filler. In fact, most of the episode is stalling to fill the whole 11 minutes, because there wasn't enough actual plot to take it up. You could call this episode cute, but I don't quite think so. Maybe it's because I've seen this episode so many times that the cuteness is worn off by now, or the fact that Lion doesn't really do anything cute, he just kinda stands around. I feel like the filleriness of this episode could have been avoided if Steven just came with the gems to get the desert glass. The writers wouldn't have to spend so much time in these awkward nothing scenes with no background music. If you ignore Lion, because let's be honest, he doesn't do anything until the very end, this episode is about Steven sitting alone in the desert, standing around alone outside, going to get pizza alone. It's really an incredibly boring episode. I was worried I wouldn't have much to say about it when I started editing this. That's it for this one, though. If you want to see the next episode a week early, you can join my Patreon for just a couple bucks. Shout out to Scala LD, my one and only journeyman patron so far. Next episode is a Garnet episode, Arcade Mania.